Compete, don't compare. Turning data into drive. This is something every one of us goes through. No matter if you're 10, 11, 12 years old, looking at the kid in the cage next to you, like, man, I wish I could hit the ball that hard. Or somebody in your workplace, whether you're a dad or, whoever it might be, we're always looking at the people around us. And it's so hard not to compare somebody else's success to ourselves. And oftentimes that goes into, or that sends us into a negative spiral of self-doubt and fear and feeling like you're not worth anything, right? Lacking just that uplifting, joyful mentality that we know we want to have, but it's so hard when we're looking at everybody else all the time, wondering why we can't be where they're at. So I want to give you some actionable steps tonight to truly begin to compete against your competition rather than constantly comparing yourself to them. Now you might say, look, but Byrd, man, you have to compare yourself to other people. You have to, otherwise how do you know what you're up against? How do you know the goals you got to set for yourself? How do you know where you stand? Well, yes, you're right. You do have to compare yourself to other people. And it's not necessarily the comparing of yourself to other people around you that gets you in trouble. It's about the lens that you compare yourself with. So write this down. I see you got some notes, Aiden. I see you got your notebook. Write some of this stuff down, man. Comparing yourself is natural, right? You're gonna look around at your competition and you have to compare to some extent. But the key is to take the objective data from that comparison and see it through a lens of curiosity and understanding. Like, I'm curious what that guy's doing for his exit velo to be a little bit higher than mine. I'm looking at him, I'm looking at me. We seem like we're about the same size, but why is his exit velo better? Why is he getting more opportunity than me? It's not from a place of self-judgment. Like I'm looking at that guy and I immediately think like, well, I'm just not as good as he is, or I'm not as strong as he is, or I'm not as capable as him, or I don't have as nice of a truck as him, right? All these things, like it's just a negative spiral of things that don't even matter at times. And so you have to focus on the objective data portion of it and using that comparison to understand where you stand. And what that's going to do is give you a concrete foundation or the data you need to set some objective goals for yourself. And so one, if you're taking notes, go ahead and write down like what do you do in this process? One, yeah, you compare, but compare through a lens of curiosity and understanding. Okay, so that's number one. Two, use this data that you have, use the data that you've collected as a benchmark for where you think you need to go or where you want to be. Use that data to help you set some clear goals. Once you have those clear goals, once you have that data and you understand like, okay, like if I see that and I know he's a starter and I'm not yet, why is he a starter? It's because his exit velo is higher than mine. What is his exit velo? 92 consistently. Cool. Let me start ramping that up and figure out what I got to do to meet 92 consistently rather than continue to compete with him. So use that objective data. Number two, Aiden, as you write down these notes, use that data to set clear goals. Set some clear goals. And once you've set those clear goals, at this point, Gavin, you're not competing against him. You're competing against yourself. You're not comparing what you do versus what he does. You're comparing against who you were yesterday. So now instead of having him or that other person as your competitor, something you're looking at to try and come up to, now you use yourself as your control. You are the control group now. You have benchmarks, and all you have to do at this point is be better than you were yesterday. So you've got this data, it's helped you set goals. Now you understand where you're at, what you have to do to get to where you want to go, and now all you're doing is competing against yourself. And you're comparing who you are today versus who you were yesterday. How do you do that? How do you move forward without thinking about that guy anymore? How do you move forward only caring about what you do and the goals you've set for yourself? Well, this goes back to the ACE method. Some of you guys, Gavin, this is your first time on here. This is one I want you to write down, baby, because if you get nothing else tonight other than this little nugget, all right, how can we control the things that we can control and not worry about what other people are doing? There's 3 surefire ways to have success. Does anybody know? Some of you guys that have been on here? It's ACE. ACE is the acronym, Gavin. ACE stands for attitude, concentration, and effort. All right, so now that you've got your goals in line, you know where you're headed, your only job is to wake up and be better than you were yesterday. How are you gonna do that? You're gonna do that by controlling your attitude, waking up with a good attitude. And if you don't wake up with a good attitude, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, get your attitude in check. Concentrate on your work. You've got your goals laid out, you know where you're going. Now just concentrate on that. So if step 1 is concentrating when you get in the classroom, so you can make good grades, so then you can play baseball or the sport that you want to play, that's great. Concentrate in the classroom. Then you get out to baseball, shift your perspective, now go concentrate on the baseball field. Read, these are ACE, attitude and concentration. And the final one is effort. Give your best effort. Right? Whatever you got that day, if you're sick and tired and you only got 80%, give 80%. Whatever your best effort is that day, give that. So, we've compared ourselves. We understand the data and the science behind it and the objective benchmarks that we need to hit to get to where we want to go. We've set clear goals for ourselves to just simply be better today than we were yesterday, no longer comparing ourselves to anybody else. We're going to do that by controlling the things that we can control, which is our attitude, our concentration, and our effort. And then the final thing, Aiden, I keep calling it Aiden because I know he's taking notes. For the rest of you guys taking notes, the final thing is just to simply do it every single day. Your only job at this point is to just get a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Some people like to call it 1% better, right? Just 1% better. The reality is, if you truly get 1% better every day, compound interest starts to take effect. And for some of you who don't know what compound interest is, it simply just means that if you, it's a finance term, but if you do something or if you have your money in a place and it accrues interest on a daily basis, over time, it's just gonna start getting greater and greater and greater to the point where it's unstoppable. It's like a snowball. You roll a snowball down a mountain, at some point it's gonna be massive and it can't be stopped, right? It's the same thing here with your work ethic. You've got your goals, you're controlling what you can control every day, you're doing it consistently, day after day after day. And what you're doing is you're gonna build momentum, and your daily improvement is going to compound, and your progress is going to be unstoppable. It's gonna be unstoppable. Some of you guys really do that day after day, week after week. I know Gavin's on here for the first time. He's here consistently in this facility working. He's working so much, his dad just built a little hitting cage in his barn at the house. I mean, this is a man who at 11, 12 years old is like, I wanna do it every day. I wanna get just a little bit better every single day. And what that's gonna do for you guys is gonna get to the point where if you just do 1% day after day after day, at the end of the year, you're gonna look up and statistically, you will be 38 times better at the end of the year than you were at the beginning because you just did a little bit every day. 38 times. 38 times better. You believe that? That's a real number. That's true. So, since we're talking about data, I want to give some of you high school guys some real data. All right? It's applicable for you too, Gavin, but you got some time. For you high school guys, for you college guys, Here's some data for you. The average height and weight of players in the 2024 College World Series, 6'1", 204 pounds. That's from Baseball America. Y'all can write that down if you want to. I see you over there, Trent. Wheels turning, trying to figure out what you got to do to get to where you want to go. 6'1", 204 pounds. Now you can't necessarily control the height, right? But if you're 5'9", 5'10", you're not looking like you're going to get much taller than that. Statistically, you better play second base, and you better be 185 to 190 pounds. So for some of you guys that aren't going to be 6'6", understand you got to put on some weight. And most people that come through our doors are lacking in that department. All right, stat number 2. The average exit velo of a 6A high school varsity hitter is 90 miles an hour with a metal bat. So for some of you guys that walk in here and you're like, dude, I'm a junior and I can't figure out why I can't crack the varsity lineup or can't even get a sniff on the varsity team. The average exit velo is 90 miles an hour. Raw data for you. Aiden, for you guys that are in college already, junior college, trying to get to Division I schools, the average exit velo for a college, Division I college hitter is 95 miles an hour. You pitchers, the average pitching velo of a 6A high school varsity pitcher is 80 to 90 miles per hour. Obviously, if you're a lefty, it's on the low end of that. Righties, it's on the high end. And then for Division I college pitchers, it's 85 to 95. So if you're a righty, you want to play Division I college baseball, you got to be 90 plus. And if you're a junior or senior and you're wondering why you don't have opportunities yet, and you're sitting here at 82 from the right side, we just gave you some data that's going to keep you from comparing yourself against all your buddies, because it's real and it's valid. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that curiosity, that wondering why you're not there yet. You're going to understand and comprehend that. You're going to use that data to set benchmarks, to set goals. From there, you're going to control what you can control, your attitude, your concentration, and your effort every single day to get better than you were yesterday. Just a little bit. What does better mean? That's up to you, right? You know where you're at. In your heart, you know what you need to do to improve. But you got to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And you got to do that every single day to get to the point where you can achieve the goals you set for yourself. All right, guys, does anybody have any questions? Anybody got anything they want to add? Open floor. Gavin, you got anything? All right. I appreciate you 4 guys for turning on your cameras tonight. You don't have to, but man, what a joy it is to see your faces. I see you over there, Jack. It's a joy to see your faces. It's a joy to have you take part in this and to learn and to grow, and just know that I'm here for you. All these guys at the Futures Association are here for you. We want the best for you. And whatever your goals are, voice those to us. Come in here and let us know, hey man, this is where I'm going. Because at the end of the day, it's really, really hard to do it every day by yourself. You got to have accountability partners. You got to have people in your corner, whether it's your parents, your siblings, your friends, or your coaches, right? Have people in your corner. They care about you, that love you, that want to encourage you to be better today than you were yesterday. All right, fellas? I love you dearly. Y'all have a great night, and we will see you next week.